Well, here I am again, trying to play this YouTube channel thing. Um, this is probably video number 10. I'm not actually sure anymore. Um, Certainly the 27, no, 26 video target I had for the year, I'm going to go well beyond that. As I've said before, this is about me practicing more in terms of in front of a camera, and just generally, this is all part of my personal development journey. Now, I guess since my last video, what kind of progress have I seen? Um, from a work perspective, I advise people on certain things, investment related things, but I've never been good at presentations. I've been practicing more, but before a presentation, I've been finding ways in which to ground myself more before a presentation. Even before this YouTube, I started to think what actually works for me in terms of grounding. And it might sound strange, but very recently I've been starting to listen to a certain Beyonce song, which was like mine and my wife's first dance. Quite upbeat, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it's kind of got me into a nice little mood before presenting. So that's going to be part of my routine. And what I'm really saying is anybody who has a, I'm about to say an issue, anyone who has um, a fear or even let's call it presentations, personal speaking in public, find a template that works for you to get you into the right zone, into the right mindset, to ground yourself. You know, you can go onto YouTube and there are 1,000 different techniques, and I've tried a lot of them. I've tried tapping, which I might talk about another time, breathing, obviously very important, muscle relaxation, so on and so forth. The reality is, not all of these techniques will work for every single person. We all come at these different situations from different experiences, from different life paths. So to assume that everything that you see on the internet or reading a book is applicable to you is naive or misled. Ultimately, it's all about finding your perfect recipe of techniques, of modalities that work for you. So for me at the moment, breathing, when I remember to practice breathing, sometimes tapping, as I said, this Beyonce song. But anyway, so that has helped with my practice this week. So from a personal development perspective, this is something I'm going to continue to do throughout the week. Now, I love YouTube because there are lots of really inspirational people, some great thought leaders and so on. But what I've actually started to look at is people who are authentically, properly themselves, with very unvarnished videos, very, very basic, using their iPhone, like myself, you know, not really heavily video edited or not heavily stylized. Now, nothing wrong with that. You know, at the end of the day, I want to improve my YouTube to be sophisticated, but at the end of the day, it's really about the person, the story, their authenticity. And I've been watching different ones that have been getting a lot of traction, where people have been talking about their lives. I can't go into the depths of life stories that these people do. I just wouldn't feel comfortable imparting it into the ether. But still, I still think it's fascinating that there is a genuine human interest and appetite to hear people's stories. As I've said in my past videos, you know, I've often had insecurities about myself for different reasons, and this challenge this year is to find new ways in which to try and evolve myself. Hence, doing these YouTubes. So go onto YouTube, have a look for real stories with real people that can be relatable and can inspire you in a way that an Elon Musk or Steve Jobs wouldn't. Those types are, there's a halo around them. They are often more mythical than real, I'd say, but they're not really relatable. Their stories will never be my story. I will never be a billionaire, may never even be a millionaire, certainly not a multimillionaire. So find people that you can actually align with, you can actually appreciate their experiences because they are more relatable to you. That's the way I'm seeing things at the moment. And I guess on that note, I also, a couple of days ago, caught up with a couple of friends from school. Now, I guess for better context, I live in Asia. Okay, I live in Hong Kong. How's that? So I live in Hong Kong. I've lived here for a number of years. I have another school friend from my same class at school, decades ago, high school that is. He also lives in Hong Kong. We had another friend who lives in Singapore who came to town. So, peers from the same class, growing up, who grew up in London, have all ended up in Asia for different reasons. And it was really great reminiscing about stuff. But, we are of a certain age. We're certainly not millennials, a certain age where certain things happen in people's lives. So I think it's very interesting when you hear about the first heart attack of a friend from school. That was one of the stories that one of them was relaying about another guy. And it really does ground you to think, well, if you're not living your intended life now, anything can happen. So, I think that's another thing I've got to take on board when I find myself distracted by, I don't know, certain elements of Netflix, which are very disposable, very short term in their impact. When I spend my time on that, when I know from a bigger picture perspective, I could be investing in things that I know make my life better, or at the very least, make me feel more content, happier, etc., etc. So, and I think this YouTube channel is going to be good for me because it will help me open up and show you more of the broader experience of my life in a way that I will feel more comfortable sharing. If you asked me a couple of decades ago to share elements of my life story, I was so not that person. Now I think I will share a bit more. Not that I'm contradicting what I said earlier, because I cannot be one of those people who shares everything. It just isn't me. But in terms of being more open, more vulnerable, which is what this personal development journey is all about, that can be me. And I think that's going to be something that I'll share, and hopefully you yourselves can also experience, because the reality is we all know, we often know what we need to be doing. We know we need to be pushing ourselves outside our comfort zone. We know we need to be challenging ourselves. We know we have to be doing those things that make us feel uncomfortable, that make our bodies tense up. But ultimately, once you get to the other side of these sensations, you realise, yes, that's what I should have been doing, and it was worth it. So that's really my video for the moment. What I will do, I've just realised I've got a really horrible view, which might kind of give you to prove that I do actually live in Hong Kong. This is outside of my window. Yes, scaffolding, bamboo scaffolding on a random building. Yeah, so I can probably share more stories about that at a future date. Thank you for tuning in, and subscribe, etc., etc. if you want to hear more about my journey along this personal development path this year. Bye for now.